What is going on, everybody? Happy Tuesday. It is time to talk some football. Um, we normally come from, a special place in our past and our history. This one I'm actually super happy to announce. I'm coming to you today from a place that went extinct, but it's coming back. Godfather's Pizza. Yes, dude. Yes.
What do you mean? Is
Yes.
it when it? I don't remember when it's seeing it. They were on all the bases.
They're not, they haven't been that
Really?
I know of in a while. Yeah. But even if that's the case, most cities like you and I can't get access to that unless we're doing work there. But they're coming back out into the general public. And if I
Nice.
remember correctly, I think it's on 1604 over near like 151 or something like that. So
Oh, that's
I'm
cool.
waiting. Yes.
Very nice. Very
Yes.
nice.
Yes.
Today, where am I going to come from today? You know what? I don't know if I've done this before. I don't have it checked off my list, but I may have said it and forgot to check it off. But I'm gonna come at you from the Rocky J's studios.
You've done that one, but that's okay. It
That's all
was
right.
fun. It's fun. We've repeated once or a thousand times. It's all right. So yeah, lots of stuff to talk about. Let's see who's joining us in the chat. Oh, it's Brahma Babe. Yes, talking about old old Godfather's Pizza. Um, Godfather's used to be just this awesome place. BD can attest to it. They had some of the best, kind of pizza. But if I remember correctly, they had like an all you can eat. Hola, ¿cómo estás, mi amigo? Uh, I'm gonna figure out how to say horns forward one of these days. Um, but in addition to that, it was like a buffet, and they had a bar, right? So you could get beer and wine. Now we couldn't get beer and wine back then. I mean, we're talking about 8, 9, 10 years old. But some of the best pizza, some of the best creations, man. What up, Brahma Babe coming from COVID land? You keep that over there. Although
That's right.
I have only ever had it confirmed once, and I think total maybe twice. So I'm really not scared. So come on
I've
in,
I've I've popped positive for it twice, and I know I had it two other times that I just didn't test.
because you're sick. Here you go. Cuernos de por delante. I'll have to work on the pronunciation because I butchered the hell out of that, but that's okay. Yes, and that was another thing they had. I think that was the first place that I ever played Pac-Man on a tabletop. Right? You remember tabletops, Brian?
Oh yeah.
So, uh, and Brahma Babe, just for you, there you go. It was a lot of fun. What really tripped me out was the switching back and forth without ever having to get up from the seats. It was very, very interesting. Even back then, I was like, "What is this voodoo?" But anyways, so lots to talk about. I think first and foremost, we uh we covered it last night, so I'm not getting it out. We're just gonna
I
leave
mean,
that
if
be.
you want to see a 30-minute rant about why St. Louis sucks, you go check out the Horns Forward from last night. We covered it pretty well. I mean, we still didn't get into everything, but we covered it pretty well.
Oh no, we pretty much beat that thing to death, much like what DC's defense did to St. Louis.
Yeah.
I mean, in some cities that would be considered a hate crime. So it was not good. Absolutely brutal. And yes, real quick, while I'm thinking of it, because Havo beat me to it and it didn't actually register. Brahma Babe, Brahma Bro, get well soon. We know you guys are battling the COVID flu thing. But bounce back. We definitely want you guys to get better so we can go out and we can do our end of season party and hang out with you guys and not get sick, right? Because nobody wants to get sick. Also, real quick, if you'll notice, this is actually from yesterday. I didn't think about it until today. But I'm wearing my official Jordy Nelson, my official Timu Jordy Nelson throwback jersey because we are officially, as of yesterday, 87 days from the start of the NFL season, right? 87, get it? So now you guys kind of understand what's going on there. But I had to wear it just because it's Packers colors too. And Jordy was one of my most favorite players. So
Hey,
anyway,
we were talking about I loved watching him. He was, as far as non Cowboys go, he was definitely one of my favorite non-Cowboys players. Loved watching them play.
Yeah. Very, very humble individual, all things considered. I mean, he's playing for, arguably, one of the largest teams in the world as far as, history and tradition and everything else. And he's playing on the world stage, playing football with some of the greats like Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers and just uh a Ramsey jersey. What Gordon Ramsay? He doesn't have a football jersey. What Ramsey are we talking about? You're gonna have to fill me in. I don't think he exists. Anyway, uh, but oh, she's probably talking about one of her Jaguars people, where the numbers are gonna be backwards and glued on and whatever. No, I'm not doing any of that. Anyways, right. Um, I loved watching Jordy Nelson play. He was an incredible athlete. But we're not here just to talk about Jordy Nelson and the Green from the 90s and 2000s. We're here to talk football today, right? So we've kind of already talked about it. We spent an hour, in fact, railing on St. Louis last night, and then we even spent some more time online today, railing on some more fans who cannot seem to get past the idea that St. Louis is not the end all be all of the UFL, and in fact, their contribution does help, but their numbers have been dropping, so they're not contributing to the league nearly as much as they think they are, and we're still going to have decent numbers.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah. I mean, I'm annoyed seeing it, but St. Louis fans are going to stop. Like I said, they're Cowboys fans of the UFL, and as I said last night, with St. Louis not able to win in the playoffs, or even games when it counts to get into the playoffs, they're themselves are the Cowboys of the UFL. So just I'm tired of seeing it on every post. How important they think they are, and how the league wouldn't exist without them.
oh, okay. I'm sorry. Brahma Babe was talking about Jalen Ramsey. That's news to me. I know they released Jair Alexander yesterday. Uh, kind of sad about that. Uh, and Pat McCaffrey may have been talking about it. Uh, but I don't listen to her. So that guy's just a rumor mill, and I try not to because he gets too much into the hype and sensationalism. And so I don't know. What is up? What's up, my Panther Pride? In fact, um, I do have something that I want to do here in a little bit. I'll have to excuse myself. BD will have to cover for me. Uh, and well, that's mean, Andrew. You know, uh, but I'm sure that's probably trolling, and so I'll just ignore that, and that's fine. Um, but yeah, supposedly there's a rumor that now that Alexander is gone, we're potentially going after Jalen Ramsey. I don't think it's a bad idea, but I don't know that we're necessarily going to make a move like that, right? Because that's usually kind of a higher dollar signing, and I don't know that we have the capital available, right? We're still a fairly young team, and there are several players that we're going to want to keep around, and so we're probably kind of tied up in some older contracts and stuff. Specifically with Jair, right? There may still be some guaranteed money that he's going to get, and we have to account for that. So picking up a high dollar guy may not necessarily be in the cards. Anyways, we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about the
You
UFL.
said that like 3 times, and yet you keep going back and talking about it.
I
All
keep
right.
going back and talking about it.
Yeah.
Okay. But
Focus, Jake.
um
Focus.
scroll.
Stay away. Stay away. Just close the chat out. Just don't even worry about that. All right. Just don't even bother
Just
what's
close
going
out
on in the chat. I'll look. I'll keep track of it.
just close out Brahma Babe so I
Yeah.
don't keep
Yeah.
getting distracted.
Just avoid the shiny things in the chat.
Like I can't help it. Anyways, um so
Anyways.
we know that St. Louis, they're salty, they're hurt. I get it. I mean, we went through it last year ourselves when we lost in the championship. And in that game, we 100% lost that game. Like it wasn't even just that Birmingham beat us. The implication would be Birmingham beat us and we put up some kind of a fight. We did not do that in the championship. We 100%. I mean, they beat the hell out of us.
Yeah.
Okay. Um, St. Louis did put up a little bit of a fight, but they got beat. All right. I've heard some fans talk about how they beat themselves and stuff. No, no. Michigan or DC was the better team. DC put it on them and was in control the entire time.
Yeah,
Okay.
and I'm seeing, I'm seeing people, and whatever, call it butthurt, call it, people just mad. They're like, oh, well, the refs favor DC, obviously, and it's ridiculous. I know, but it all stems from that one call that was the Beck challenge, the pass interference on the fourth down. Uh, and I mean, Pereira reviewed it. Now we all know how I feel about Blandino and Pereira, in their review, but Pereira explained clearly why he was not going to rule that a pass interference call. Yes, the defender got there a split second before the ball did, but in real time, it was a bang bang play. Like as soon as the ball was there, the defender was there, had his arm in. So real time, it was not pass interference. So I agree. I think that was a good call.
Mhm.
And St. Louis fans hate it.
What I would like to know is why is it every time we talk about Blindino or Pereira, I think, yeah, that's his name. Um, I constantly think of uh God, what is his name? Uh, the guy that's in The Wedding Singer. Not Adam Sandler, the other guy. Con Air, Crazy Eyes,
Oh,
looks
Steve
good to
Buscemi.
me. Yeah, Steve Buscemi with the crazy eyes. Every time I think of them, I think of Steve Buscemi with the crazy eyes, saying, "Oh, looks fine to me." You
Yeah.
know.
So
Um,
UFL Isaac, you know what? I'm going to disagree. Pereira, I don't always like his rulings, but he is pretty consistent. Like he has his opinion, what he looks at, and it's pretty standard across the board. I don't always agree with it. A lot of times I disagree with it. Blandino seems to kind of change, what he's reviewing based on what he wants to do at the time. I've seen, I think we talked about it a few weeks ago. He was reviewing a game and he called a hold or and said, well, it wasn't restricted because yeah, he got held, but it didn't restrict the player. And then the next quarter, he did another review and called a hold and said, yeah, well, he wasn't restricting the player, but he got held. You know, so it's just he changes constantly what his reviewing criteria is. So
yeah. And especially in a play review like that, I mean, consistency is key, right? Call it the same.
yeah,
Similar play, call it the same, dude. Don't change because oh well in this one, he was in the motion of exhaling and so therefore it doesn't count. I mean, come on, dude. Like I know it's not that bad, but it's almost that bad. So again, consistency is key. When you're making a final ruling on something, just stay consistent.
yeah,
Right, wrong, indifferent. Stay consistent. Then you don't have it, at that point, the only thing that's being questioned is, hey, you don't know what you're talking about. And people just move on rather than focusing on it like we do. Um, but again, it is what it is. DC definitely came out to play. They took care of business. As we talked about last night on Horns Forward, those two games were reverse, right? Um, I thought for sure that um that Michigan the DC St. Louis game was going to be a lot closer and that Michigan was going to pull it off single digit win. And that decidedly did not happen. I knew Michigan was going to take care of Birmingham, but I didn't think it was going to be that bad. That was that was kind of surprising to me. So definitely congrats to Michigan Panthers and the DC Defenders as they get ready to have to play in the chicken coop. Guys, we do recommend that you bring, some hand sanitizer and some handy wipes because you're going to need it for those seats.
bring
I
if
don't
you
e-
got any extra the COVID masks, make sure you bring those It's a little hard to breathe up there.
Yeah. I don't even know if a pressure washer could get some of the dirt out of those seats, man. It's that bad.
I just think every
What
time they
is
have a
up,
tornado or
Jackie?
storms in the area, they just need to open up the doors and just let that water come in and just wash everything. I mean, that's really the only thing it's going to take.
I It's not a bad idea. I don't know if it would help, man. Honestly, I
I
really
mean,
don't,
it might,
you
it
know?
might. That's the only thing, you know.
Well, so the same thing could technically be said for like the Superdome. And it seems like every time that place floods, it just gets worse, you know? So that's why I'm saying I don't know if it's going to work in St. Louis. But you do have that nasty river. If you really wanted to, you could trench a little channel over and just flood the whole thing and wash it out. Um, anyways, uh, wow. Um, so the stage is set. Michigan Panthers playing against the DC Defenders. We talked about it. We made our picks last night. Uh, wow. Good call, Rick. Decades old Ram dandruff. And Jackie's footprint is still in the mud from last season, and I know Brahma Babe is still cleaning mud out of her boots from this season.
Yeah.
It's just and I get it, right? They do the truck and tractor pull thing in there, and they do it quite often, I guess. But come on, man, put a plastic bag
Well, I
over
think
the seat and
it's
pump it.
always like a couple weeks before the season starts. So
Yeah, and then like immediately afterwards. But anyways, um, BD, I know you did a coin toss.
I did.
There there had to be a little bit of hope behind that coin toss, yeah?
Not really. I mean, you know, I think Michigan and DC are two very similar teams. Um, they, you know, they rely pretty heavy on defense and the run game. Um, Michigan a little bit more with Perkins. You know, Tamu can run, but he's not as much of a dual threat as Perkins is. Um, I mean, Perkins is just you don't know what the hell he's going to do if he's going to pass or run or hand off or whatever. Uh, I think it's going to be a good battle. And I like both teams. Like I don't, you know, I really like DC. I really like Michigan. I really like the people that we know from both those cities, the fan bases and stuff. And so it really was. It was legit a coin flip for me to decide who I was going to root for. And it's just I flipped for Michigan, so that's who I'm going to root for. But yeah, it legit was a coin flip for me.
Yeah. And I agree with Mike. Next year, if the Alamo Dome is available, it really needs to be hosted here, regardless, right? San Antonio has always been a good host city. It is, one of the only domes that we have, and we could do it essentially in Ford Field. I don't know if it would be available or not. Probably not because, you've got the Lions, starting OTAs and stuff like that. So I don't know if it would be available or not for something like this. However, it is also in Michigan. So you're increasing everybody's traveling costs. And it seems to cost a little bit more to travel north than it does south. Um, so I mean, those would be your ideal choices for a neutral site if you were going to do it. Um, hopefully next year it won't be a neutral site. Hopefully we'll be in the championship again. But it's a new season, new team. We have no idea who's coming back, who's not, who's going to be getting replaced. Like we don't know any of these things, and we're not going to know until 4 weeks before the
Yeah,
season
yeah,
starts.
we're really getting ahead of ourselves here, even talking about next
Yeah,
season
and
and championship
yeah,
and all that stuff. So
yep. And Jackie, that would be a bad idea because you're talking about, and no offense, but um you would be like a minor league football player going up against like a Warren Sapp or something like that. You're not ready for that. It would completely take you down. I'm just saying, right? There's songs about that. So um again, I'm excited. I'm pulling for Michigan, but I'm pulling for Michigan kind of similar situation. I'm torn because both teams are great. We've got friends on both sides of the field there. I think Michigan has a little bit more of an edge with the quarterback situation. I think Perkins is going to be enough of a threat that uh, that's what's going to probably make the difference,
Yeah.
right? His ability to be able to spread the field, run out of the pocket when pressured, and be able to get those extra yardage, right? So they're gonna have to play back. They're not going to be able to blitz. Um, and I just oh man, I'm excited. Uh uh oh, we've got a flip side right here. And
Well,
and
we know how much John loves Jordan over there. So
yep. And John's not wrong though,
no,
right?
yeah, I mean Jordan. I mean, we're talking about Perkins. Perkins was going to win the MVP if he hadn't gotten hurt the last 3 games. Te'amu's going to win the MVP. I mean, he had the best season. Perez had more passing yards, but you look at total production and stuff. Te'amu's going to win the MVP handedly, I think. But
Not
um,
this show. We had a
uh,
catastrophe last night.
yes, that was fantastic. Um,
Yes.
yeah, but both quarterbacks are really good, and again, DC has Abram Smith. Michigan has Perkins, DC has Smith. That's kind of the two difference in the run games. Um, and yeah, so oh, you got a cat looking around. I think it's going to be a really really good game. You know, my heart is saying Michigan. My coin flip said Michigan, but I'll be rooting for both teams, man. I just want to see a really good game. Oh, and
Okay.
he's back. Perfect timing.
Yep. I do apologize about that. Um, so I said I was going to do it, and so I'm going to do it on air. This is a gift from our friends in Michigan, from My Panther Pride. Where are you at? Right here. Okay. Um, and if this is what I think it is, which I'm super excited about, I believe this is an official piece of merchandise here. Um, oh, that would be horrible. I mean, you could say it. Uh,
Boom. Box of glitter dicks.
ooh, yep. But it's even better than that. It is the official rally towel of the Michigan Panthers. Now, um, super excited about that. I do have one. It's just a substitute. It's a fill-in. The UFL wall is officially done now. So I'm very excited about that. Here's what I'm even more excited about. I've got stickers, right? And that's going to be fun because Panthers undies. It's yeah, that's horrible. I'm gonna leave that one alone. Um,
I've got some
guys,
stickers for them somewhere over here.
yes, thank you so much.
Oh,
Much appreciated. There might be, in honor of you guys, there you go.
there.
In honor of you guys, we may place one or two in the Alamo Dome, just because we love you guys. But on the same token, next time we go to Ford Field, we're probably going to be putting some Horns Forward stickers all
That's
over the
right.
dome as well. So just be prepared for that. Because St. Louis still hasn't found all the ones that we put there. DC has them all over the city. Memphis has at least two that I know of in the stadium, right? And that's our thing, right? So we just go and we graffiti your places in a nice way, but then we let you try and find them. So guys, thank you so much. I cannot tell you how much I appreciate you guys doing this for me. That's freaking awesome. And that's what the league is about, right? Us making friends. Uh they're cheetah print, okay? They're not Panthers. They're cheetah print, okay?
That's
God,
not a
talking about my
panther print.
underwear.
That's a cheetah print.
Uh-oh. McThumbs over there is getting crazy. I'm getting nervous. Anyways, um, okay. So, uh the actually, you know what? That's not a bad idea. Miss Tutem Brahmasita, we probably should make our own rally towels and maybe start distributing them a little bit as well.
Oh, there you go.
Seems like other people have done it. Uh oh. John's not wrong.
Yeah.
Anyways, so we know what's coming up with the game. Some things that we need to talk about real quick, though. First and foremost, they have announced the special teams player of the year, the offensive player of the year, and the defensive player of the year. Okay. Um, and so Michigan is kind of cleaning up, right?
They are. I mean,
First,
they got offensive player of the year and they got the special teams player of the year uh,
yep.
for Kendrick Whitehead. I mean,
Mhm.
I said last week my pick for Brad Wing was a homer pick, so I wasn't expecting him
Yep.
to actually get it. But I was right about Perkins being offensive player of the year and Peta from St. Louis being defensive player of the year.
Yep. Um, and Perkins, we knew was somewhere in the conversation, and I'd almost be willing to bet that Brad Wing was probably in the conversation for special teams player of the year, uh, but didn't do what Whitehead did,
I mean,
right?
you got to be real special for a punter to get special teams player of the year. I mean, Jake Bates got it last year because dude was kicking 65-yard field goals.
Yeah.
And so,
So, hey, Sandy,
usually that
good to
player
see you.
is a returner or something like that. So I totally get it.
I want to talk about this real quick. I fully support that idea, Mike. And here's the reason why. Did you watch any of the Michigan Birmingham game? Edie, that's
I
right.
thought you were talking to Mike. I'm sorry. I thought you were talking to
No,
Mike.
no,
Yeah,
no, no.
I
You.
watched kind of the second half of it.
Okay. By any chance, did you hear them start the chant?
I did not.
They did. And it's because of us. Now, I'm not saying that we invented it. I'm not saying that we started it first. Okay. But we were notorious for the
Yeah.
you can't do that chant. And it started in Arlington, right? The very first season, we started that crap. And it caught on like wildfire. And so for me, it is nice to hear that other people are getting into it also. Again, I don't
You
care
start
about
and
getting.
you kind of hear it in a lot of games. So a lot of
Mhm.
a lot of crowds are picking it up, and it's it's just it's fun to hear. And I
Mhm.
love doing it. I love doing it when we're on the road. I mean, it just sounds different when we're on the road doing it.
Oh, it's so much better. It's so much better, right? It's like it's amplified 10
Yeah,
times, you know? Um, but it's nice to see that something like that has actually caught on, right? Again, not trying to take credit or anything like that, but it's nice to know that there's people out there that are catching on to that vibe, that are getting it, that
yeah.
are starting to do some of the fun things, right? Um, I fully expect. I heard people trying to do cadence calls, false cadence calls, and I definitely you and I started. Okay, now I'm not saying we started it. We're the first ones to ever think of it or anything like that, but we definitely brought it to the UFL, and
Yeah.
it has caught on. There aren't very many people doing it, but the diehards, the crazies like you and I, are doing it, and it's like, oh man, oh man. So it's so much fun, dude. I love hearing other fan bases do it now because it means that they're getting it with
Yeah,
us, right?
absolutely. And I mean, that's like you said earlier, man. That's the fun of this league. It's just
Mhm.
going to a game, enjoying it, having fun. Just yelling and screaming and chanting and all that stuff, man. It's just an absolute
Yeah.
blast.
I don't know where they are, but I've got look, and if anybody sees Excalibur, you can let them know. Look, got nothing but love for you. Okay. I've got my St. Louis stuff. I'm collecting this stuff and putting it on the fan
Where's
wall,
my Excalibur?
right?
I've got an Excalibur too.
Um,
Oh
let me
shoot,
see.
I got it right here.
Behind Behind me over here, you can see Predator Couple and Rig Rocker, right? I'm celebrating all of us. The Banditos, that blue Arlington flag that's right there, um, that's from them. That's why that's still hanging on the wall.
Hey,
There's
where's your St. Louis flag, by the way?
oh, you mean that one that's upside down?
Oh yeah, yeah, it's upside down.
Yeah,
That's right. It's
yeah.
because they're in distress.
They're in distress. That's why it's upside down, and it'll be that way for the rest of the year. Um, but yeah, I just filled in the Memphis one today. Oddly enough, I happened to go to the store after I asked the boatsman to see if he knew anybody that could locate one for me. And wouldn't you know it, they happened to have some in the fan shop. So I got one of the last ones. So that's good, right? Completed my wall. I'm happy. Um, but this is what it's all about, right? Uh, just making connections with people, making those bonds across the aisles, talking trash to the team, having a good
Yeah.
time, right? And at the end of the game, hey, good game, right? Uh, and right here, Sandy, 100%. I couldn't say it any better, right? You just summed up what I took 20 minutes to say. This is what
I
makes
mean,
the
that's
UFL
usually
so
how it works
special.
with you. Let's be honest here. You know.
Yep, yep. Jackie, I'm excited to see that. One state, one love. Um, I'm
Well, that was
excited.
pretty cool. That was at the rally. They gave it to
Mhm.
her. It's pretty awesome.
I'm excited because, my brother from another mother, Mr. Tim, aka Crazy Tim, gave me a window decal for my truck. The only thing I need to do is I need to outline it in some yellow so it stands out because it's a black decal on a tinted window. Nobody's going to see it. So I'm going to outline it with some yellow, and it's really going to pop. And I can't wait to put that on the back of the truck. Right?
Nice.
That's going to be sharp. Anyways, so specialist of the year, offensive player of the year, defensive player of the year. Congratulations, St. Louis, on linebacker Peta. I'm not even going to attempt to say his last name. Um, he definitely put in the work. He earned the accolades. I fully expect NFL teams to be giving him a call and giving him tryouts. Uh, Hopefully, things work out for him and he lands a deal with somebody and gets on an NFL squad. Hopefully, you know, second or third stringer. I think it'd be a little bit much to ask a UFL player to be a starter, but
Well, yeah. Right
they
now,
can,
yeah. I mean,
yeah, they can work their way up. But it's not unheard of.
yeah. I mean,
It's
the guy
not
got
unheard of.
like 7.5 sacks in a 10-game season. So, I mean,
Yeah.
that's impressive as hell.
Yep. So that pretty much covers all of our UFL news for this week, right? We're kind of looking forward to the rest of the announcements that are going to be being made probably throughout the week.
Yep.
Um, the other players of the year, coach of the year. I'm excited for that one. I kind of think I know who's going to get it, but
I mean,
we'll see.
it's got to be Harris. Like, who else can you pick? So,
I mean, some argument could be made for Becht, even though he didn't uh, he didn't win when it mattered most. Okay, uh, and 100%. Uh, uh, oh, hey, that's Sabrina Wilburn Mansko. Thank you. That's the perfect. That's the kind of stuff I need. Tamu Penu. That's a perfect way to pronounce it. Uh,
oh, yep.
St.
Okay.
Louis's, yeah, St. Louis's kicker, Blankenship, the guy with the
Yep.
glasses, which I thought that was pretty cool that he had kind of that cult following. It was kind of almost like Ricky Vaughn in Major League with the glasses.
Well, so I mean, obviously, being an A&M fan, I watched the SEC. So he kicked for Georgia, and then he got drafted by the Colts, and he played for a few years, and then yeah, he was out of the league last year. So I'm not
Mhm.
surprised at all that he's getting another shot. I fully expect him to be on an NFL team next year. And we talked about it a little bit last night. We got some of our guys that got invited to camp too. Corbin. We got Lions. I'm missing our edge, one of our edge rushers, and then I think somebody just today came out too.
I'll tell you who it was.
I'm trying to find it too. Sean Fresh.
Yes, Fresh,
Yeah,
who joined us late,
yeah, yeah. He was
but
a
made a
late
big
ad,
impact.
and then he's got he's got to work out with the Eagles. So
Yep. So that's gonna be fun to see how that works out. So yeah, again, proof of concept. This is what it's here for. Uh, this is an opportunity for players to hone their skill to try and make a run at the NFL, whether they've been there before or not. It's to make a run, right?
yep,
And the better they do, the more proof that we need the UFL. Okay. Now, granted, yeah, that does suck for, some of us who, want, our favorite players to come back and stuff like that. Um, but on the same token, if they can make it in the NFL, man, let them run,
yeah,
you know?
absolutely, absolutely. I mean, it
So,
this is what they're playing for. So oh crap, I like him. I want him to be back on my team. Goes out the window with these guys going to the NFL. So
yep. Um, who's not going to be in the conversation for coach of the year, right? Besides Party, right? No offense, but Party did the best that he could with what he had, couldn't really do much. But you know who isn't going to be in there, and this one makes me happy? Big Game Bob. He will not be in the conversation.
no,
And
big game Bob, Skip Holtz. Nope, bye.
yep, yep. And Holtz deserves it, man. With the comments that he made to was it Harris
Harris,
about
yeah,
being the doorman and whatever, he got what he deserved, right? So I feel bad for the Birmingham fans. They have to have Skip Holtz as a coach. But they got it. Okay. That's what you get. And Sabrina, I 100% agree with you. We've talked about this before.
yep.
The UFL season really should be starting right after the Super Bowl because it gives the players a chance to rest and recover from a 10-game season, which they are playing hard and playing their hearts out. They'll still be in fairly good game shape when it comes time for mini camps and stuff like that. They'll get their opportunities, but playing this late into the season, you potentially are going into training camp with nagging
With
injuries
the
or
nagging injury. I mean,
yeah.
you don't have. We talked about that XFL, USFL. XFL started right after the Super Bowl. USFL started around the time the UFL does, and there was a stark difference in players. You know, their
Mhm.
conditioning and going from the XFL, having an extra month just to kind of rest and rehab a little bit versus the USFL going right into these OTAs and training camps. So
Mhm. And if I remember correctly, I don't remember what the numbers were offhand. I mean, I could go back and research it because I know we talked about it. It's been, a while now. I mean, heck, we're on episode 110 already. Um, but if I remember correctly, I think we had more. It wasn't like a 2-1, but it was like a 1.3 or 1.4. Uh, but it's like 1.3 or 1.4 to 1 kind of ratio of UFL or of XFL players uh getting an opportunity, and I forget what the ratio was of XFL players that were actually getting signed to USFL players, but there
I
was
I
a
I don't
significant
remember
difference.
seeing that. That was 2 years ago, and I've slept
Yeah.
since then. So
Yes. uh
do we want to
and Ed,
tackle Ed's comment here? I think we could.
you want
Oh,
to you want to start, you want me to?
I mean, I kind of talked about it a little bit last night.
Hmm.
Ed, our comments, we made yesterday about it. There's a different side to every story. I understand where AJ was coming from. If he has concerns that or he felt like that he was misled or something. I don't know what actually happened. None of us actually do.
No.
Um, he may have been told something that was wrong. He may have been told something that he perceived was incorrect. We have no
Mhm.
idea what was said. Once again, there's AJ side, there's the front office's side, and there's what actually happened. That's the way it is with every he said, she
Mhm.
said, every kind of story or whatever. So yeah, you're right. We didn't get into it a whole lot last night because there's not a lot to get into. It's just
Right.
it's AJ, was felt like he was hurt and decided to step back, and that's well with his in his prerogative. If he felt like he was done wrong, then hey, I don't blame him for stepping back, but we don't know what actually happened. So that's honestly why we didn't really spend a whole lot of time on that last night.
Right. To kind of go along with what BD was saying on this show, on Horns Forward, we kind of try and make it a point to report on what we do know, what we can actually verify. In this story, all we can talk about is what AJ had said and give our opinions on that, which, yeah, it does sound like potentially he was wrong, but we don't really know what happened. We don't have the other side, and we're not hearing the other side from Lillibridge or anybody else in the front office.
Which is really
Even
how it should be. I mean, it's like what Bravo just said. It's rumors. It's
Mhm.
somebody just going on complaining, and really, what good does it do? Nothing.
Right. Right. And so AJ could be spitting facts or he could be crying the blues, right? We just don't know. And so we don't have enough information to be able to say one way or the other what actually transpired. And it's not really worth it at this point. We do hope nothing but the best for AJ. Hopefully, maybe we can figure something out in the future. Maybe he can come back or he can land with another team. Or hell, maybe he gets a coaching opportunity with a college or something like that where he can actually prove what he can do, right? It's nothing against the guy. The guy knows football and he's an
Yeah.
incredible coach. So we do hope that he gets the opportunity to show that. But this just probably wasn't the exact best fit, especially with all the changes, with Wade, you know, kind of having to step back, for whatever his reasons were, which we still don't 100% know. We've got speculation on that, but we're not going to report on it because, again, it's speculation. Um, so we hope AJ finds his niche and can show what he can do because I think he'd be an incredible asset to whatever team he goes to, whether it's UFL, whether it's, a college, heck, even an NFL opportunity. If he gets that, I would love to see that for him. Right. But the fact of the matter is that we don't have enough facts to report on the story. And so all we can do is say that there was a report from AJ about his side of the story about what happened. And that's kind of where we're at. So. Oh, yeah. And Ed, 100%, you're right. Um, and I hope you're not one of the guys that's on the ban. And I know you better. I don't think you are, but I hope to God you're not one of the guys that's on the bandwagon saying fire Beck because he didn't, get you to the championship game 2 years in a row now. Because it's not all on him.
I mean, but at some point, you know, this is 3 years in a row for St. Louis. Because we're nope, three, because in the XFL they had to beat Seattle and they would have guaranteed themselves a playoff spot in the XFL playoffs, and
Playoff
they
spot.
lost that game. So that's
Right.
3 seasons in a row where there was a win and move on whatever scenario, and St.
True.
Louis
But
lost. I mean, different quarterbacks, different players, everything. What's the one consistent? Your head coach. I mean, that's what have I said about McCarthy? Why am I glad that they finally moved? The Cowboys moved on from Mike McCarthy because he couldn't win when it counted, and there
because you're
might be
just a
something true
hater.
to that with Beck. So
You're just a hater. That's all it is. We gave you the best. No, we
whatever.
didn't. No, we didn't. We gave you the worst version of McCarthy we could. Anyways, so yeah, uh, that's kind of where I stand with all of that. I think uh yes, 100% Ed, and it definitely should be for Beck. Like this next year. I'm not saying he gets a free pass. This next year should be the hot seat, right? This is a year he needs to be able to show that he's got what it takes to get a transitional UFL team deep into the playoffs, into the championship game. He's had the weapons. He's had Hakeem Butler for at least 3 years now, right?
Yeah.
He's had several different options at running back. This year was no different. Sailors, I believe it was, incredible talent. There should be no reason other than the
I mean,
fact
that
that
was that was the
Disney just
argument
flat
this
out
year,
played him.
you know. But look, if I could see St. Louis moving on from him going into next season, if they decide to retain him, he absolutely has to win next
Yeah.
year. If
Ooh.
he doesn't, there's no way they can justify bringing him back. I think
What if
I think it's iffy this year, but next year for sure.
what if they move on from Beck and pick up AJ as head
I
coach?
mean, you know,
The plot thickens. That's just speculation. We're not reporting anything. We're just throwing out hypotheticals. Okay, let's not get ahead of ourselves. We're not spreading rumors here. Anyways, let's spread some rumors about.
nobody thought you were spreading a rumor.
Let's let's spread some rumors about indoor football. Uh, this next one is not a rumor. San Antonio lost again. They played. Who the heck did they play?
The stupidest
Uh,
name in all of the IFL.
Yes, the Quad City Steamwheelers. Do they even have where is the Quad City? I've
I have
never
no
even heard
idea.
of it.
I have no idea. I don't even care enough to look it up. I know I could easily Google it and see where it is. I don't care that much about them. Your name is stupid. I don't care about your team.
That's so hurtful. Uh uh so yeah, San Antonio drops another one. Uh things are not good in San Antonio when it comes to arena football. Um Don Rackley is the owner of the team. This is we were talking about this off air. This is the third year. Could this spell trouble for the San Antonio Gunslingers as far as coming back? Anybody who's owned a business or knows a little bit about kind of running a business can take a loss 3 years in a row at the beginning of the business and take it as a tax write off, right? Because you got to spend money to establish your business and whatever. Um, this is the third year. Will With the way things have been going in San Antonio and the sparse crowds and everything like that, is this a preview of what's going to happen to the San Antonio Gunslingers, or can they rally back and put a competitive team on the field next year and win back some of those fans? What do you think?
I mean, I'm not going to go far as say like they're going to, dump the team or whatever just because of, I don't know what the business looks like as far as with the plumbing company and the uh and the team and all that. But they do need some help. I mean, this season has been obviously, let go of the head coach after week 2. Had 3 different quarterbacks. One was released, one asked to be released because he wanted to just go play somewhere else where he had a chance to win. Uh, you know, I think that this team really needs to, if they're coming back, there's a lot they need to work on, and they're struggling a lot right now. I don't, it starts with the head coach. You got to get a culture in there and build around that. So
I don't disagree, and I think that's one of the things that happened to San Antonio when they made the move to the IFL was that the culture that they had kind of didn't from the NAL didn't go with them. They lost a really good coach. They lost a pretty good quarterback. Well, they lost a really good quarterback actually.
Yeah.
And things just have not reset. So this next year, if they come back, which chances are they probably are, right? Um, but if they do come back, they're going to need to work on that first before they do anything else, which is, get an established head coach, reestablish the culture, and really focus on the teamwork aspect of things. So fingers crossed for them. Hopefully they're able to turn it around and, kind of start coming back from what is arguably a very miserable season.
All right. So
Speaking,
I'm gonna assume that this is Brahma Babe. That's the answer of where Quad City is. Now,
I
how
don't
the
even
hell would
know.
anybody ever guess that? I mean, my God.
Well, if I remember correctly, I believe Brahma Babe was associated with the Jacksonville Sharks.
Yes.
That's cat number two. So she's got some insight into the indoor football world that the casual observer like you and I just aren't going to have. So she's probably seen, what is that, Moline, Illinois? Looks like Moldy, Illinois, which would make sense. It's
Yeah.
Illinois. Um, but, so of course she's going to know
I
where
don't know.
the
Was that one of the old school arena league teams? Once again, I don't care enough to look it up. Your name is stupid. So
No, it actually wasn't. Jacksonville Sharks, the Arizona Rattlers, things like that. Those are the old school teams.
yeah.
Uh, the Quad City Steaming Piles, no, not so much. Anyways, but hey, congratulations on your win against the worst team in the league. Moving on to the A.
I
Speaking
do
of,
think they're leading their conference or whatever. So hey, good for them.
yeah,
So it's probably the other teams look at their schedule and they're like, Quad City Steamwheelers, that's not a real team. And they're like, oh, we
that's
don't have to
not
show
a
up for that game.
boat
That's a
whistle.
bye week. That's just we don't need to show up. That's why they keep winning every week.
So kicking over to AF1, we've only got one week left. Uh, I'm going to go ahead and just remove that comment because nobody cares.
Nobody
We've
cares
got
about your
1 week.
spam guy.
Yes, we've got 1 week left in AF1, uh, which surprise, surprise, they actually made it a full season, and it looks like
So far, we don't know. They may collapse
well
this week. So
they could, but I mean, there's one game left now. Corpus unfortunately has taken an absolute nosedive.
speaking of collapsing, Corpus Christi
Yes.
Tritons.
Corpus lost again this last weekend to the Oregon Lightning, and it wasn't even necessarily close. Um, Trying to look up the scores right now.
40 to
Uh,
24.
40 to 24. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like it was necessarily close. Uh, Again, really surprised by that score. But then again, week 12, Oregon Lightning played the Billings Outlaws, which arguably Billings is a good team, right? They were one of the powerhouses that came over from the AIF with Corpus. And Billings destroyed Oregon 58-7. And then Oregon beats Corpus 40-24, right? Uh so yeah, the Liberty, oh my God. I show this comment from UFL Isaac. We're talking about the Salina Liberty team, and go back to week 12. They played the Washington Wolfpack and stomped them 71-4. That's almost as bad as that beating that Corpus took, like in what, week 4, week 5, where it was
Yeah.
104-12 or something. Um, so yeah, things are obviously a little bit crazy for Corpus right now, especially
They've got
with ownership and losing the players that they did. They have not really recovered from that, and that's rough for the city of Corpus because I mean, let's be honest. I love Corpus. It's a great, tourist kind of fishing town, whatever. They have the Corpus Christi hooks. They don't really have much else, right? So this is a good alternative for family entertainment. are they going to come back next year? You know, that's what I'm kind of concerned about. Are they going to be able to bounce back from the black eye that they took earlier this season?
I mean, this season has been, because remember they were gonna be in the NAL, and then they dropped out of that, joined AF1 suddenly. There's been, obviously their season dropped off kind of when they had reported issues of paying players, and other players wanted to be released. They had to bring in, they had to field a team like brand new kind of. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it doesn't bode well. It doesn't bode well for the future of that team. Um, I would hate to see them not return, but I really wouldn't be surprised if they did. If they shuttered the doors uh, after the end of the season.
It could very easily happen. Real quick, I want to make sure we give a shout out to our guy Bobby Otten and our guy Sammy Sharp and Pro Arena Talk for helping us out with all the information that they send us about Arena, because we've talked about it before. BD and I are cheap. We're not going to be paying for these subscriptions. So a lot of the information we get is from guys like Sammy and Bobby and UFL Isaac also. He's definitely helped us out with some information, and he's helping out right now. Uh, and UFL Isaac, you're right. Nashville has been falling. I don't know on the trajectory that they're on right now. I don't know that they're even going to necessarily make the playoffs. They might,
I mean,
because I think it's
they're
top
the
three,
third
isn't it?
seed right now. So
Right.
I don't know what the playoff seeding is. I would imagine top four. So
Hmm.
who are they playing? They're playing
They're playing
Corpus.
Corpus,
Yeah, I mean
so
that's going to be a
that
win.
could be that could
So
be It depends. I mean, if they've been struggling lately, that could be something that they need to really keep an eye on. In the meantime, you've got Billings is playing Oregon, so that could potentially be a win for them, and Salinas is playing Southwest Kansas Storm, which could potentially be a win for them also.
well,
So
Selena's number 2 in the league. So I mean that right there, that Storm and Liberty game is kind of what's going to determine a lot of the playoff seeding. I mean, Albany's playing the one team in the league that's worse than Corpus. So
Salinas is number 2. I've got him listed as number 4.
no, Storm is number 2.
Oh, okay. Okay. I thought you
Salinas is
said
4.
Salinas. I'm sorry. Okay. So yeah, I mean there could be a mix up, just like what UFL Isaac is saying right here. Um but I mean there could be a change uh between some of these. It looks like the change would be in just 3 and 4. Um Yeah, no, it looks like Kansas pretty much has it buttoned up at 7 and 4. So even if they take a loss, 3 and 4 can't advance on them in 1 week. But meanwhile, Albany 9-game winning streak, that's insane. So we at least know that they're making the playoffs. We can say that safely.
And to
Uh,
answer Brahma Babe's question, I think we've talked about this a lot. I think there's too
oh
many
God.
leagues. Um, Too many leagues, too many teams. It's such a watered down
Hmm.
game right now, just with so much going on, so many different leagues. Uh, it's too much for us to keep track of. That's why Pro Arena Talk, Bobby and Sammy are great resources for us, because there's just too damn much for us to keep track of everything. Um, and I do. There's just way too much going on. I would love for a lot of these leagues to kind of merge and just kind of build, you know, one one super league and then one kind of sub league under that.
Hmm. I'd almost be better with doing, because we've talked about this before, and I actually think it was Bobby or Sammy that brought up the idea that got us to talk about it in the first place. But condense these leagues down to regional leagues, right? Have a Midwest, have a Northeast, have a Northwest, a South, a Southeast, Southwest, and those arena teams play against each other. and then you do like a sweet 16 round robin kind of thing, right? And so the winners of those leagues play each other like a double elimination kind of thing, or whatever, and then you'll have like one arena league champion, right? I think that would actually probably be better for the sport because then you can reduce costs across the board, make the tickets cheaper, make them even more attainable for the fan base, and you're not having to drive like Corpus fans having to drive to Billings to watch a game if they would even do that. You know what I mean? Or having Billings have to travel over to Oregon, you know um I think that would be a better use of resources.
Man, that almost sounds
But
like the playoff scenario for basketball.
kind of um but I mean it works in college sports, right? So the leagues are spread out a little bit more obviously, but you do have, like, for
I mean,
example,
they
you
used
get
to they the leagues used to be regionalized,
Mhm.
and then
Used to be, and then
used
the
to be.
NIL came along.
Well, way
you
before the
know
NIL came along. I mean,
I
like,
I know, I'm just joking. But the point being, um, UTSA, for example, is in the College World Series for baseball, right? They took out Texas, got their ticket punched. Um, but that's a regional kind of thing, you know. Things like that make sense. Have the local teams playing in a league that's like a Texas league, and God knows we could have our own league. We've got enough teams. Um, but do it like that, and then have like the two top teams from each league go into that bracket system and start playing each other, and then work their way to a league champion, right? And then it just rotates around. I think that would be perfect. But that's just me. I mean, what do I know, right? What I do know though, is that our friends over in Beaumont put on another hell of a show against the Columbus Lions, which Columbus arguably is a great team. Beaumont's just that much better. I don't know what the heck this is all about, and I'm going to go ahead and delete that one also. Um, Beaumont wound up winning 56-45. Uh, Robinson uh, had like very little passing attempts. Uh, he went 6 of 9, 119 yards, 3 touchdown passes. Uh, but the rushing game, and we've talked about this, how the indoor game is changing and adapting, right? Uh, Look at this. Boom. Right there. UFL Isaac has the Southern District already wrapped up right there. Get this man a seat at the table. He's got the ideas. Um, but the rushing was insane, BD. Robinson, the quarterback, 13 attempts for 85 yards. Antoine, the actual running back of the team, 10 attempts for 38 yards. And then you even had some wide receivers rushing, you know? So,
we talked about that last week, man. That's just it's absolutely crazy to see rushing numbers like that from indoor football, arena leagues and stuff. It's just it's crazy.
mhm. What's crazy? Uh, Columbus's quarterback, he went 2 of 14 somehow. Oh, I'm sorry, I take it back. He was 14-26. My apologies. Uh, but 12 incomplete. He threw one pick and 4 touchdown passes, and still threw for 205 yards. Meanwhile, rushing, you've got 80 something yards rushing in
Yeah.
indoor, right? Uh, the quarterback rushed for 50 yards himself, you know? Um, and that's just, again, that's just kind of how the game is developing and changing. Uh, so as the defense is starting to get a little bit stronger and these scores are starting to get lower and lower, the game is modifying to put more excitement back into itself, which I think is awesome. So maybe one of these days we'll have to go and catch one of these games. But anyways, looking forward to the playoffs, which they're not showing it. Uh, but it looks like Beaumont is going to be taking on Omaha for the NAL championship game, and that's going to be happening next Monday. Which I've got to say, for an arena league to have a championship game on a Monday, that kind of makes me wonder how many eyes are actually even going to be on it, right?
Yeah.
Uh, so hopefully they've got some pretty good attendance. I've got to trust that they know what they're doing. The NAL's been around for a while. But yeah, so they're all these leagues are starting to wrap up. Um, and speaking of wrapping things up, we're gonna have to kind of wrap it up here real quick because we're already way over. But one thing I'm happy to announce, and you know where I'm going with this,
Yep.
the Warbirds are back. Now, this is, via Sammy Sharp and Bobby Otten. I believe Bobby actually broke the story to us first, but Sammy showed the link. It looks like the West Texas Warbirds are coming back, um, but they're not going to be playing in Odessa like they did before. New management group knew everything about this team, and they're actually going to be playing in Amarillo.
Yep.
So we don't know what league they're going to be in. Uh, Things are pointing towards the NAL where they originally started out before they made the move to the IFL. Um, but that's exciting. It's exciting to see that team come back because that's such a cool name. I love the hell out of that name, man.
I do
Uh,
too. I hope they keep it, or like maybe Amarillo Warbirds or something, because
mhm.
West Texas. I mean, Amarillo is like one of the northernmost cities in Texas, so it's just really
Mhm.
weird to me that that's still considered West Texas. So
It's Texas, man. What are you going to do?
it's that
You
Texas
know?
geography. Dallas is considered North Texas when there's still a whole other northern section, which is considered West Texas. When it's the
But that's not.
northernmost. I,
But that. But that's West.
yeah.
Yeah.
Texas geography, gotta love
Yep.
it.
And that's why we love Texas because we do whatever we want here. So, and
I mean, that's what when you're as big as we are, it's just like call it whatever we want. Who cares?
yeah. Uh, Isaac, you're right. That should be a really good game to watch. Hopefully, maybe we can find a pirate feed somewhere and watch it. We'll see how that goes. And then KJ, good to see you, my man. I would love if we could see Amarillo play Frisco. I miss the Frisco Fighters. I
Yeah.
wish they'd come back. We don't know. I haven't heard
Who knows?
anything.
I
I've
mean,
heard no rumblings.
how all these arena teams they pop up, they take a season or two off, and then they come back. So we'll see what happens.
Yep.
Just like the Warbirds are doing. So you know,
Yep. Somebody new buys the team, brings them back,
yeah,
and they last for a couple of years, and then they go away again. So, but we'll see. We'll see, man. These are some of the classic teams that we actually started with covering, right? Back in what 22, 23, when we started Texans talking football.
yep,
So, um, but again, we just have to kind of wait and see what happens. But in the meantime, UFL championships this weekend going on now. I think it's important to mock Aaron Rodgers, but it looks like he finally showed up at the Steelers minicamp, and supposedly he got married. It's 2025. I'm not asking any questions. No judgment.
Oh,
What
you
he
know what?
does is
He finally got himself another ring, so good for him.
well, yeah. Thank you, bastard. That was my joke. Uh, but yeah, so
You
uh,
just took too long
well,
to get to it. All right, don't be
yep,
mad because you drug it out. All right.
I did. I did. Um, there's some interesting news coming out of Houston. It looks like defense is coming on really strong, especially from the defensive ends. They were able to kind of get pressure on CJ in practice. Now, again, this is practice, and we don't know just how hard they're going in these OTAs and stuff. But they were able to provide pressure. In the meantime, in Dallas, it looks like Prescott is doing pretty good with his new receiver.
Whatever.
Again,
I
it's
don't even care.
practice,
I don't even care.
right? Yes.
It's practice. It's practice. Who cares? Let me see. Let me see
Yes.
in the game. Let me see in the playoffs. Only thing I
Look,
really care about from the Cowboys right now is Parsons said he's going to attend the mini camp. I know he's still working out contract details and stuff, but he is going to show up, so that is something positive. So that's really the only thing I care about as far as Cowboys wise right now.
yes. Um, I'm sorry, I'm looking at NFL headline. Aaron Rodgers says decision to sign with Steelers was best for his soul. Come on. They probably just had really good drugs there, and that's
I
all it
mean,
was
that
good
sounds
for.
like exactly like something Rogers would say, so I'm not surprised.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm sure he got his chakras aligned and whatever. Here you go, BD. You can get down with that one.
It's our year. It's our
Okay.
year. That's right. What
It's
hold
always
on. What are
your
we?
year.
We're 29 years now. It's our year. 29 years in a
Yep.
row. It's our year.
Yep. It's our year times 29.
Yeah.
We'll let that go. Uh things are pretty much trucking along for Green Bay, of course, right? We've got Golden, who is connecting fairly well with Jordan Love. Um, although interesting, Bo Melton has been one of those fringe players that we signed, had hope for him, didn't really kind of live up to it, but it looks like Bo Melton has finally kind of turned it on this year. And
Probably
that's never going to
that's
happen.
that's those COVID drugs talking right there.
Yeah, it's the super toilet bowl. That you
Yeah.
could see that happen. Um, but uh, again, with Jair Alexander being cut and everything like that, um, they're they were moving some stuff around, and it looks like they put Bo Melton on defense, which he actually did pretty good apparently. Uh, Not surprising, Bo Melton, his brother, Max Melton, plays for the Cardinals, and he's a cornerback, I believe it is. Uh, so it only makes sense that he'd be able to at least know what the position is. So maybe we've got a versatile player that can play both sides of the ball, much like what's his name that was signed this year.
Hunter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know that we're going to get. We don't have Travis Hunter in the making. Um, but it would be nice if we had somebody that maybe could play both sides of the ball because we're going to have to find a solution for Jair Alexander. You're not just going to fill that with some other dude on the roster. Like we're going to have to dig deep. We're going to possibly have to open up the pocketbooks, which everybody knows Green Bay does not do. We don't sign free agents. That's ridiculous. We just make them and send them elsewhere.
Yeah. There
Um,
you go.
so we'll see what happens. But again, well, I haven't said it yet, but I do hope Jair Alexander lands somewhere where they can take advantage of his talents and that he stays healthy, can make a big difference there. I would hate to see him go to Dallas, but if he did go to Dallas, he would definitely make a difference there. So we have to see where he lands.
Here's
But in the
hoping.
meantime, yeah, there's football to watch this weekend. Get out and watch some football, guys. We know how important it is for viewership. I The numbers looked really good this weekend for the playoff games.
They did.
Let's make them look really good for the championship game. If you can go to the championship game, get your butts up there, represent your team. St. Louis, I know you guys aren't in the game. I know the 40 or 45 people that we know there are going to go. Tell your friends to go too. You guys already bought the tickets. You were already expecting to go, so just go. Support the league, right? Uh, Excalibur, you actually didn't miss any, really. Look, I even showed your towel. This is the second time I showed it, right? So nothing but love for you, my man.
I mean, you don't
Um,
want to know what he did to it after he showed it, but you know.
there's no evidence. There's no stains. I didn't do anything to it, Excalibur, but I am going to keep it away from the cat. Thank you for reminding me.
Yeah.
That dude's got thumbs and he'll eat it. Um, but guys, you're in St. Louis. Go represent your team at the championship, even though your team's not in it. Support the league. That's all we're asking you to do, right? Uh, I'm afraid to see. Oh yes, um, it was the laughing
I
emoji. It
hate
didn't
how it
come
doesn't
across in the chat.
display the emoji in the chat right away. It takes
I
like a
know,
minute. It's really annoying.
I know. It's so weird. It could be like something inappropriate, like a big eggplant or something like that. And we
Freaking
wouldn't
do
know which
better
one
with
we
that
chose.
restream. Come on.
Yes. But in the meantime, guys, football this weekend. There's indoor leagues that are starting to wrap up, and we're starting to get into playoff scenarios and stuff. Some of them already have playoffs. We've got the playoffs going on in the UFL. After this, we're going to get a little bit of a break. But all that means is that college and NFL are going to start kicking off right afterwards, right?
Yep.
So we're going to have a very, very small transition, 86 days until, the NFL season starts. So get out, watch some football. Once football ends this weekend and the arena leagues end in the next week or two, take a breather, collect yourself, maybe collect some funds from all the money that you've been spending on tailgating and everything else, and get ready for the NFL and college, right? This should be a phenomenal NFL and college season. Of course, then again, every one of them is always phenomenal. So can't really say anything bad about that. Uh, Brahma babe, get well, go rest up, take your whatever drugs and your whatever Aaron Rodgers tea, make yourself feel better. And with that, I think let's go ahead and wrap it up.
Yeah. I mean, just, I like both of the teams that are in the championship this week, so I'm not gonna say anything bad about them. So this week, you're gonna get a suck at Eagles.
Nice. And Ed, I don't mean to hurt your feelings, but suck at Vikings. So we'll see you guys next week. Take care, guys. Later.
Later.